These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? They're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
Whenever, wherever we are meant to be together, I'll be there and you'll be near, and that's the deal, my dear. They're over here under you.
These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to another episode of America's Barley Basket. My name is Marlon Wells. Sitting across to the internet from me is Nathan Fulsabach. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlon.
How are you, bud?
I'm a little bit sweaty.
Okay.
If you want to know, if you're wondering why I'm glistening, why I'm glowing, I don't know if I'm ill or if this room is just too hot or a little of both, but I'm a little bit of a damp boy.
You got a real sheen on you, like looking at you in this Zoom window.
Is it a healthy glow? Be honest.
Oh, God, no. No. It is
deathly pallor.
Yeah, you are real white.
Yeah.
And shiny.
I have been tanning to a lot of bronzing, so that's unfortunate.
And I don't know if it's just this camera angle. Your hairline is looking real rough. I don't mean to just roast you, but you asked.
Just gonna say.
It's not. Listen, I'm not one to fucking talk here, but are the days catching up to you? Are you reeling in the years?
I think that. Oh man, you're gonna come at me, the Doobie Brothers? I'm gonna get all emotional. You know, me and the Doobs. That's I find solaces in their lyrics.
Yeah. You're always talking about the China Grove.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The China Grove that's inside all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you heard the good news?
Doobie Brothers, such a dumb fucking name for a band.
Yeah.
Come on, what are you doing?
Bet they
Different
thought
times.
it was. Yeah. Bet they thought it was cool and they came up with it when they were 17.
Yeah. So that's what they went with.
Yeah. A lot of that back then.
Yeah, that's true. It's fucking hard times around here, man. It's been a week. It has been a fucking week. Like I'm fine, whatever. I wasn't the target of fucking domestic terrorism. None of my loved ones were taken or anything. I could do for some sunshine, Nathan. I could do for some sun.
You need a little sun. You get cooped up. You need to get out there.
Daddy's got them winter blues. He's just
vitamin D blues.
Just done with them winters. Like we just got 3 inches of snow the other day. We're supposed to get up to 8 this weekend. Like I'm pretty over it.
You look like a man that desperately needs to frolic.
I do. Yep. And I'm got a real lack of frolicking these days.
You with a picnic basket skipping across a park.
Is only the weather to blame? No. Did I hydrate well today? No. Have I eaten a vegetable in the last several days? No. Like I'll take the responsibility where it lands, but
some of it's on me.
Yeah, but God damn it. To quote Shawn Michaels, I feel like I've lost my smile.
There we go. Well, maybe this podcast is what you need.
Here's fucking hoping.
There we go.
Frankly, I'm
exuberance. It just exudes from this show.
Yes, we are nothing if not exuberant.
America's funeral march.
I'm happy to see Sean Kemp in the news. That's fun. That's some fun,
Wish it was for something better.
It's not often you get to see Sean Kemp's name in the news.
Participating in a drive-by shooting in his 50s, no less.
Well, to be fair, the full story has come out at this point. Apparently, he had a bunch of property stolen from his car, and he tracked his iPhone, which was stolen, tracked it to Tacoma, and went out and, went to go get his shit back, and they fucking shot at him. Sean Kemp, true G, pulled his piece and returned fire in self-defense.
Look at him go. I am sorry I assumed this was just some basic fucking, yeah.
Well, to be
Sean
fair,
Kemp.
when it first came out, like the headlines were just saying Sean Kemp involved in drive-by shooting.
Sean Kemp is here to say, no
Yeah,
way. He was a man scorned, and he
you don't
wouldn't take
fucking
it lying
steal
down.
Sean Kemp's shit.
Don't fuck with the Rain Man.
Nope, Sean Kemp is like top 5 NBA Jam stars I would least want to fuck with.
Yeah. Somewhere Elton Lister still thinks less of himself for the dunk that Sean Kemp threw on him.
Still wild that Seattle doesn't have an NBA team.
Yeah. Oklahoma City does, though, so that's good.
Yeah, at least Oklahoma does.
Yeah, that's what America was clamoring for.
Yeah.
More pro sports teams in Oklahoma.
I like that Sean Kemp has this fucking Punisher vigilante side of him. Like, oh, you're going to take my shit? Okay.
I hope at all times he's carrying around like a ragtag gym bag that has 11 loaded pistols in it.
Just ready to fucking go to war.
Yeah. Doesn't even bother reloading. Just like treats them like cheese in a can. Once it's gone, he just throws it out the window.
Just give me a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw his name come across Twitter earlier today, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen that name in a while. What's he up to? Oh.
Is he coaching intramural basketball? Is he helping at-risk youth?
Not today, he wasn't.
No, today he had vengeance in mind.
Yeah.
Hey, Marlon.
Hey, Nathan.
You know who has never had things stolen from them, then went inside and filled up a grocery bag full of random handguns to go put some street justice on some unsuspecting hoodlums?
Who's that, Nathan?
The Simpsons.
Okay, there we go.
That's what we do on this podcast. We listen to The Simpsons.
I'm impressed every week, and I don't know about you, I watch them too. I don't just listen to them. It's
I'm glad that one of us does. All on cassette. I have a buddy put them on tape for me, and I just have them playing in my car.
Yeah, you don't even turn on your TV. It's just coming out of the sound bar. I just need
It's not even the show. It's just people doing a cold reading of the script. There's no music. It's just
a table read.
Yeah. A door opens.
Yeah, I was gonna
Santa's
say,
little head enters.
Stage directions in there for sure. I haven't gotten one couch gag or chalkboard gag. I tried to say both and said couchboard.
God, couchboard could come in handy. Couchboard's what you need when you've outgrown, have like the table beside your couch isn't big enough to hold the snacks. You need to get an extension. You get the couch board.
In your head, does it like come off of the end table and then over you like the board that goes across the bathtub that you put wine on?
Yeah, in my head, there's like brackets on your... So you could have it go the other way if you want. I don't know, maybe there's someone on a chair on the other side that needs some snacks, but you could just use the rollers and pull it over your lap and it's right there for you.
Okay. Oh, it's on rollers. Okay. In my head, it was like, imagine you nailed a surfboard to your end table, but just on one end, and then it swings, because that's like a pivot point. Like it swings back and forth.
There you go. Kind of like the chair you sit at when you got to give a blood draw. Like they have the thing that comes across your lap to rest your arm.
Sure. Yeah.
But just bigger to hold your treats. Cup holders. Oh, my God. We got something here.
$1 million idea. Nobody steal that. The fucking snack board.
Well, speaking of big ideas, the Simpsons got themselves into one in this batch. Did they ever? Holy shit. We're going to do a big old 45-minute episode. First in Simpsons history. Has to be the first we've ever done.
This is a two-parter like every other one.
But do you think they aired it all at once, or did they break it up?
It aired 1 week and then the next week, just like every other two-parter.
Interesting. Okay.
It is dumb though that they listed it this way on Disney Plus.
Exactly.
So our numbers are all fucked up now because they just list this as episode 6,
and it aired. It's 50 minutes long.
Which means our numbers are going to be off the rest of the fucking season, and it means that we told everyone the wrong numbers last week. So if you watched 6 to 10 last week, you watched one extra. Put that in your back pocket for next week, I guess.
Keep that in your tum-tum.
Guess who else did that? Me. I was. So I'm working ahead for next week. I got like halfway through this episode and I was like, this is a little long. Does this feel long?
Me too. I was like, wait a second. This doesn't add up. Like, how am I only a third of the way through the episode?
This is the longest episode. Yeah. I think part of what it is, though, every other two-parter that we've had, I think, bridged the season gap.
I don't believe the hip-hop one did.
Oh, I think you're right. Now that I think about it, I don't know that the Preacher one did either.
Oh, the Preacher one was the other one. Boy.
The Mr. Burns one for sure did.
Yeah. That was end of a season, come back to find out who killed Mr. Burns.
Yeah, so I just didn't look ahead and see that this was a two-parter, so here we are. Anyway.
Here we are. The title of the episode is A Serious Flanders, which, as I will go into later, kind of threw me. I assumed this was going to be like a character study on Ned, kind of like the Coen Brothers movie A Serious Man.
Oh, okay. I didn't get the reference.
There's a little bit of that in this, but I'll go into what I think the bigger kind of like what they're drawing from is.
Oh, I think it's super fucking obvious.
I think it's kind of a mix of two, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
All right. Yeah. I'll back off. Stop flipping me off, Nathan. Nathan, stop doing the throat slash. Nathan, put down that gun. Would you point that at your laptop?
Getting all cockled up over here. These cockles is arising.
Nathan, it's fine. Stop furrowing your brow.
Quit popping your shirt off.
I didn't say that.
What? Boy, I would have a tough time popping it off. It's a that's an 8-point turn getting this shirt on and off. A lot of things that can hook it. Episode begins with 3 mysterious strangers capturing and then killing the Texas oil man. So Jesus, shit starts off grim, and not only kill him, cut his fucking face off.
They fucking ice the Texas oil man.
Yeah.
Whew. All while the fucking debt collector reads that fucking poem or whatever. Like, it's very cool. I was very into it.
Yeah, was very caught off guard by it. I didn't see it go in this direction.
The unmistakable vocal tones of Brian Cox.
Very good choice. Very good choice. And he's like a 60-something, very serious guy with a goofed up eye, which, you kind of already know. We're going to find out what happened to that eye. And his henchmen are a couple, a Irish man and a French woman. Am I right there?
Yeah, we don't know that they're a couple at this point, but yes.
Oh, good point.
Yep, Irish guy, French lady. Irish guy played by Chris O'Dowd, who I like from the IT Crowd.
Oh, good pull, yeah. And Bridesmaids? Is he the cop love interest in Bridesmaids?
Yes, I think you're right. I think he also has a real brief appearance in Thor 2.
Yep, he does. He certainly does. So that all happened. We got a faceless Texas oil man, and dead. Not just faceless, he's dead. Which at that point, you should just put him out of his misery.
100%, yeah.
Don't cut someone's face. Hey, everyone, listen. I know we like to have fun on the weekends, but don't cut off someone's face and let them live. Just take them out if you're going to go that far.
I did like during that scene that, like, Texas oil man's like in a panic because there's fucking home invaders, and he opens that drawer and it's just filled with revolvers. It's just overflowing with goddamn revolvers.
Yeah, that was good.
And they cheese the shit out of the Texas
oil
man.
Do. We get treehouse levels of violence in this.
Yes, we do.
And meanwhile, while all that's happening, Ned is out picking garbage in the woods because he is a good person.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. But what an angel! Like he doesn't live in the woods. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Homer is also doing it, but he's doing it because it's part of his community service from some parking tickets. And of course, he's not doing anything. Ned's doing all the work. And he's like eating candy and throwing the litter. And while chasing an errant candy wrapper, Ned falls down a giant hill and really takes a goddamn spill.
I would be in the hospital.
Oh my God. This is This is a Homer level of spill, like rolling down a cliff.
I've never eaten shit down a hill, and I consider myself fortunate.
Oof, I did. It's the reason I got contacts. I fell down a super steep hill, lost my glasses in the snow, never to be found again. All's well that ends well, because I got contacts out of it.
And we've discussed how well you treated those, so yeah. I'm not convinced this was a blessing.
So during the fall, Ned lands, or kind of comes to a stop. He gets his head stuck in a rotten old tree, and while in there discovers a old Pan Am bag full of cash. I mean, full of cash. Hundreds of thousands, one would assume. Homer soon also falls down the hill because he was laughing when Ned fell. And he sees the money and is instantly jealous, because of course he is, because he's a selfish garbage person. Ned brings the money home and counts it. It's $173,000 and $1,773,296.
As soon as he finds that money in the woods, I said to myself, are we gonna do a simple plan?
Yep, that was my first thing that this was kind of taken from. A little bit of Simple Man, a little bit of Old Country.
Yes, yep, I do. And even those two aren't the main things that I think this draws from, but that was my gut reaction of, oh, fuck, are we going to do Sam Raimi's A Simple Plan?
What a deep cut in 2022.
That movie's great.
Came out, very good movie, very good movie. After thinking it over for what he should do, Ned decides he looks to his beloved long dead pawpaw for wisdom. And he decides, I'll do what my grandpa would do. I'm going to donate this money. Gives it to a local orphanage, which of course Ned would, because Ned's a great person. Ned doesn't want any recognition, but Barb, a very upper Midwest Scandinavian woman who's employed at the orphanage, tells him he should donate it in honor of someone he loved. And he does. He donates it to his papa, who was also named Ned Flanders.
Yeah, he'd do, oh, I won't donate it in my name. That would be prideful. I'll donate it in his name, Ned Flanders.
So it's Ned the Third.
Yeah, he's Ned the Third.
So he makes the donation, and the leader of the mysterious strangers, the one voiced by Brian Cox, sees this on the news and realizes immediately that he's the man that owes him $173,000. So he decides to stay in Springfield, presumably to find Ned. This man sends his henchmen to the android's dungeon for some reason to get info on Ned. They're very mean to Comic Book Guy. He's a very soft man.
They rough up poor Comic Book Guy pretty hard. Although, like, the whole time he's just fucking snarking them about how cliche this all is, which is so funny. Yeah.
But eventually they scare him enough and tells him, I don't know where he lives, but he can often be found at church.
During that scene, the French woman whips out a motherfucking butterfly knife, which I was marked out for. You ever dally in butterfly knife ownership, Nathan?
Oh, I think I've owned at least one, if not two, in my skid days.
Attaboy.
I traded I believe a Steve Earle Greatest Hits for a CD for a butterfly knife.
How'd you feel about that? You now looking back, was that a good trade?
If you gave me 15 minutes, I could bring that butterfly knife out and show it to you.
Yeah, I got one on my kitchen counter in the cup with the pens.
Doing flips and shit.
Yeah. I got that thing in fucking high school. I was probably a sophomore or a junior. I still know some tricks. I still got some shit. Oh, man. I spent a lot of time. It's amazing that I turned out even marginally normal, because boy, if you're a teen boy with a butterfly knife, you are on a path.
Yes, definitely strong skid tendencies lend themselves to butterfly knives.
Yeah, I use it to open letters, and every time I do, I'm just like, look at this thing.
This is fun. We're doing it.
Any gas stations up here have butterfly knives? You could probably I bet 90% of butterfly knife sales come from gas stations.
Truck stops, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just knife shows.
Sure. Boy. You always see them at gun shows. There's always that one booth at any manner, even a non-gun show, even just a convention. up here is gonna have the knife table, like the knife booth. Like, oh, you want this weird Klingon one or these fucking throwing stars that look like playing cards? Like, there's always that one table of knife garbage.
Yeah. And if you get this, I'll throw in the Zippo with the Rastafari alien. It says, "Take me to your dealer." That's fun. That's fun. You'll have fun with that.
I remember we would go to the North Dakota Winter Show in Valley City, which is a goddamn ag convention.
Yeah.
Like, every other booth is fucking Vermeer balers and, hey, we sell rake teeth, or here's some irrigation solutions that you might want. The newest in
pesticide technology.
Yeah, and there was always the goddamn knife table there.
Because they know that some dads dislike their children and drag their kids to shit like that.
Yeah, and that kid is going to run up to the knife table and, I want this one. I want this fucking, this one's got a dragon.
God, yeah. Dragons are so often. Dragons and fucking swords and knives go hand in hand.
Yeah, a lot of
sad, lonely men.
A lot of pewter dragons with fucking fake jewels in their eyes adorn the hilts and handles.
Owned by men with the wispiest ponytails.
Truck station knife cabinets across the upper Midwest.
Oh, I bet the employees hate when they gotta bust that thing open. They never remember where the key is.
Hey, can you open the knife cabinet?
Why? I hope they make you pay for it before they even bother.
Yes, that's a good idea, actually. You got to pay ahead of time for me to open up and pull that huge 4-foot Klingon weapon out of there.
Because I bet a lot of guys get it in their hands and they get sticker shock and they just, no, thank you.
No, I just wanted to hold it.
Guess I'll just get these Funyuns.
Like, if you're a teen boy who lives in a town that has a truck stop that sells that, I bet you're in there pressing your greasy face up against that case every other day.
God, I never found swords cool.
I can't say that, but okay. Yeah, me neither. Dumb. So dumb for nerds. Dumb nerd swords.
Casually move your monitor so we're not seeing your sword collection behind you.
They're not swords. They're katanas.
For home defense.
I love the, like, especially in a truck stop case, there's always ones where it's like, this is the most impractical thing. Yeah. Like, you got to put your hand into this thing like a mitten, and then it's 3 prongs, serrated dragon head blades. Like, what are you going to do with this, huh?
God, someone right now has a neighbor that's 44 years old doing fucking sad somersaults with his dragon hand knife thing. Hiya! Stabbing a square bale at the end of it all.
And then checking his phone to see if he got the shot. Like, is this the one for the YouTube?
Yeah. So after the henchman leave, comic book guy, he calls Fat Tony, funny that he'd have his phone number, and tells him what happened. Right? What a weird thing for him to have.
Well, of course he does, because as we point out here, he has to pay Tony protection money.
Yeah, which
He's
great.
Part of Tony's protection racket.
Yeah. What is happening at the android's dungeon that he needs mafia protection? He's a prick. That's what it is.
Well, also, to be fair, as far as I know, the way mafia protection rackets go, it wasn't his idea to hire Tony. Tony came in and said, you will pay me X amount per month or something bad happens to your store.
That they would listen to him and he's like, well, what am I paying for you guys for? You know, like.
That's true. Comic book guy doesn't know boundaries.
That's true. Very good point. So Fat Tony is not pleased to know that some other criminal enterprise is on his turf. And man, I can't stress enough how much I love that comic book guy pays for mob protection.
Mm-hmm.
So good. While at church, Ned is confronted by the mysterious man. He says he is a debt collector, and he has collected all of his debts except his first. And that's where we see in his ledger, it's the exact same amount of money that's missing.
And it's from like 50 years ago. Like this is the one that's haunted him.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think he says it early on, like, I've never not collected on a debt except this one. And now is the time. And even though Ned had nothing to do with it all, Ned found the money. So Ned is responsible for paying off that debt. Just as he's about to approach Ned, Barb and the orphans burst into the church. Because I think everyone else has left the church and Ned was sitting alone praying when he's confronted by the stranger.
He runs back in to get his Bible.
Oh, there you go. Yep. And the stranger's waiting for him. But he can't make a move in front of a bunch of orphans and Barb. That's bad optics.
That's a tough thing to spin.
Yeah.
It's tough to spin a murder in front of a bunch of orphans.
Yeah.
And
who love the man you're murdering.
Yeah. And a chesty Scandinavian woman.
Yeah. So he disappears. Barb is laying it on thick. She is warm for Ned's form, and by God, they do go out on a date.
Yes, warm for his form. Yes,
I mean the dude's a beefcake. There ain't no way around that.
He is stupid, sexy Flanders. We've seen that butt in fucking ski attire.
Yeah. They go to some kind of, like, what would you call it? Outdoor Christmas market, I guess.
Yeah, some manner of. I think they call it the winter market. So
okay.
Yeah, it's like booths all set up with fucking go get chocolate milk and a bratwurst or something, you know?
Buy handmade gifts from craftsmen and craftswomen.
I'm pretty sure there's one of those in Fargo here every winter.
Okay.
Which is Looney Tunes. Why would you go outside?
Yeah, it's not really meant for that.
The winter blues have got me, Nathan. They got me.
They got their icy grip on you.
I'm deep in the doldrums.
You need to do some kind of, like, beach sound ASMR tonight.
Ooh, like seagulls and waves crashing, and need to take some goddamn vitamin D supplements is what I got to do.
Some, like, dinghy noises from, like, the ones that float out in the ocean, just like with the bell ringing.
Oh, sure, a faraway foghorn.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, man. Should get into the ASMR business. You've got it all figured out.
Yeah, I think you have to be able to compile the sounds to get into that business. Yeah. I don't think you can just say them.
Spitballing is the easy part. It's capturing the sounds.
I don't think you can just say seagulls and someone on the other end goes, "Oh yeah,
caca."
Oh, that's. I don't think that's the sound seagulls make.
Bing bong.
Is that a clock? I don't.
I am the dinghy in the waves. Bing bong boom. Listen to me.
Bing bong boom.
This is great. I am really soothed by this.
I think it's more of a high frequency ding on that little bell. I think you're doing like a church bell.
Yeah, that's probably it. I was born very landlocked. I'm not familiar with the sounds of the dinghy bells.
Check out our new podcast where Nathan learns about bells.
Bell talk.
4
hours every week of bells.
Highway to Bell with Nathan.
There's me holding a bell with one hand and giving a thumbs up with the other.
This week, school marm. Ding, ding, ding.
So Barb and Ned are out walking around, and the sparks, they are a-flying. I think Marge kind of notices it, and so does a drunk Homer. And drunk Homer wanders up to him and drunkenly accuses Ned of not donating the money out of the kindness of his heart, but to win the love of Barb, which is cruel and factually incorrect. Barb is just horny.
Yeah, it's 100% baseless. Homer is just shitty and jealous that Ned found the money.
Yeah, the community rightfully tells Homer to get fucked, and Willie dumps him on the drunk rink. I like that.
I think it was earlier in the episode where Homer is talking to Marge, or maybe it's coming up right here, one or the other, where it's Homer's right now, like, I fall down things all the time, and all I ever get are he can't say concussions. He's like a skipped record.
Yeah. Because they're back at home after this, and Marge is justifiably furious with Homer. And that's when he admits he's pissed because he thought that money should be his. Because, again, he's taken so many huge spills and he's never gotten shit from it. Ned takes one and makes all this fucking money. So now we know
shitty Homer, peak Homer.
Peak shit Homer is absolutely right. We get that a couple times in this batch here.
Yes, we do.
Meanwhile, the henchmen, while on their way to Ned's house, lose the address. They just lose the number. They know that it's Evergreen Terrace.
Yeah, 740 something Evergreen Terrace.
And the first house they happen to stop at is the Simpsons, and since there's so much of Ned's shit in their garage, they just assume it's Flanders' house. They sneak on Homer, they cattle prod him, and then kidnap him, the whole time assuming that he is Ned. And there's a good visual gag of the settings on the cattle prod.
It's cattle and hippo. And they they shock the shit out of him with cattle, and then she flips it to hippo just to give him some more. They tase the shit out of Homer. Also, a cattle prod, it's not fun, but it doesn't put you down. What
hurts more, that or an electric fence?
Cattle prod, for sure.
Okay.
Electric fence is just a one pop. Geez.
Yeah, shit, Frank, didn't see that there, yep.
Yeah, but cattle prod has a little juice in it.
Okay, huh.
But not like here. Not like Homer. Not like see your skeleton fucking Blanca attack. That's not what a cattle prod does.
Wouldn't incapacitate Goldberg in 1999 like it actually did in the match.
It's amazing that's what you brought up, because I am still sour that they called that thing a cattle prod back then, because that thing was fucking 6 feet long and 4 inches around. It was like a baseball bat. That's not a goddamn cattle prod.
It's 6 smelly candles stuck end to end.
I remember being young at the time, being like, "That's not what a cattle prod is." Don't, goddamn you, Mike Tenay. That's not what that is.
Yeah, meanwhile, your living room is just peppered with them everywhere.
One in every corner,
cattle prods lying everywhere. One that's just stuck on, hopping around the floor.
We owned one for bulls because they can get kind of ornery, but we weren't cattle prod people. We had one break glass in case of emergency cattle prod, but other than that, we were just sort and stick people.
Okay.
Sorting sticks, like a fiberglass stick about a 1/4 inch in diameter and about 6 feet long, made of fiberglass, so it's got a little kind of car antenna whip to it.
And that'll get their attention, huh?
Oh yeah.
No shit.
Swat them on the back with him, keep them coming up the chute.
Huh.
I can get you a sorting stick. I should have bought you, instead of a fucking bottle of hooch, I should have bought you a sorting stick for a home warming gift when you moved into your new house for self-defense.
It's been a minute since we've had a little foray into animal husbandry talk on this podcast. There was a time every episode would go down this road.
Oh, I'm aware. I remember an alarming amount of goddamn animal husbandry talk on this show. But yes, it's been a while.
So while Homer's being kidnapped, Ned has been invited to go up to Barb's place after the date, and things are getting all sorts of hot and heavy when he notices pictures of Barb and Sideshow Mel all over the house. This is really well done. It's like he sees one, then he sees another, and he sees another. And he finds out quickly that Barb and Sideshow Mel are part of the lifestyle, which, of course, Ned is not. Because at one time, Sideshow Mel just walks through in his robe, like, "Hey, guys, what's up?" He's just playing PlayStation or something.
Yeah, holding a goddamn video game controller.
Is he really? Okay, yeah.
Oh, shit. That's... Listen, if you're in an open thing, you got to tell people before that. Yeah, you can't let it get to that point. Of course, Mel and Barb have a goddamn open marriage.
Do you think Barb is going to be canon? I don't think so. I don't think much from this episode is.
No, I think this is a for funsie. I bet we see the Texas Oil Man again.
Yeah, I just gonna say he'll have his face again.
Yeah, I loved this scene. Holy shit. It's such a fucking insane turn.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the henchmen present Homer to the mysterious man, who angrily informs him that that is not Ned. The man, turns a negative into a positive. He's like, I can make this work. He calls Ned and tells him if he doesn't pay the money in 24 hours that he will torture and kill Homer. Marge notices that Homer is gone, and she goes over to Ned's, who has to lie to Marge and claim he doesn't know what he's up to, which that kind of shit eats Ned alive. He doesn't handle it well. We next kind of get like a little bit of a montage of Marge going around town asking if anyone knows where Homer is. She goes to the Quickie Mart and we see Apu, which was sure nice.
It was crazy just to see him. He doesn't say anything, but it was wild just to see him.
Yep. And see the inside of the Quickie Mart. We used to spend so much time in there.
Yeah, haven't seen it in a long, long time.
And while she's out trying to find Homer, she stops into Lard Lad, where Tony and his goons have gotten the drop on the mystery guy eating his breakfast, kind of putting the squeeze on him, like letting him know, hey, like this is Fat Tony's turf. And while that's happening, the mystery man who moves lightning quick, he kind of gets a drop on them, fucks one of them up with like a spoon or a fork, throws coffee at one of them, gets into a humongous gunfight where fucking Fat Tony's goons all get fucking aced, as does Disco fucking Stu, as does Mr. Burns.
Yep.
That Mr. Burns scene is like, what's he coming in for? His free birthday donut?
I forget exactly what it is, but like he comes in kind of cheery, like,
Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Because he has a coupon, yeah.
And gets shot in the fucking face, and it's just dust. It's just poof.
Like a magic trick.
Yeah. Before that, because they're trying to intimidate the fucking debt collector, and one of the goons, saddle up to him in the bench, so they've got him kind of trapped on his bench, and he fucking he throws coffee on one, he fucking punches the other or something, and then the one guy, did you notice he does the Joker's magic trick where he grabs the guy by the back of the head and slams him down on the table, and when the guy pulls his head back up, he has the fucking salt shaker stuck in his eye.
Yeah, very, very violent.
Unreal.
I'm pretty sure Disco Stu dies because Fat Tony uses him as a human shield.
Yep, which doesn't stop the debt collector at all.
Yeah, he has no affinity for. He does not know who Disco Stu is. And he doesn't kill Fat Tony with bullets. We don't see it, but he takes him into the back, and we find out that he pretty much greases him up, greases his head up, rolls him in dough, and then fucking deep fries his head.
Yeah.
That's how he died. He made him into a goddamn donut.
Yeah. Tony the whole time, you don't see it, but Tony the whole time is going like, hey, why are you putting flour all over my head? Hey, why are you pounding my face into a circle with a hole in the middle? Hey, why are you applying and then he gets way down to the other end where the fryer is. He's just like, oh, this is very clever. And then you just hear him screaming.
Yeah. And while leaving the dinner, he just quietly greets Marge with like a ma'am or a madam or something like that, and doesn't even pay her the time of day. Just walks right by her. But unbeknownst to him, he drops Homer's work ID card, which Marge finds. So that's kind of the end of part one. We get this little scene of Ned praying in church, Homer tied up and scared shitless, and Marge kind of sad with the ID card, but kind of determined to find Homer.
Yeah.
Great job of building the fucking stakes.
Yes. This is extremely well written, and all of the vibes, it's split up into chapters, and each chapter is in world. So the name of the chapter is on a candy wrapper or on the floor mat or something. And it's got this kind of, they use a lot of subdued colors a little bit, the palette is a little washed out. It's extremely prestige TV.
Yeah,
and it's
very much
so good.
Yeah. Usually when the Simpsons try to get ambitious, it often falls apart, but boy, they are nailing it so far.
They even set that up at the beginning with the fake Netflix intro.
Yeah.
It's like Simflix, and then they have all the all the thumbnails of all the TV shows. And did you catch some of the titles of the TV shows?
And normally I'm all about that, but I didn't.
Yeah, I was pausing, looking around, because it's like the fucking Netflix, tiles. And there's B-Jack Horseman, which is just BoJack Horseman in a bee costume. There's What We Lou in the Shadows, and it's Lou the Cop as a vampire. And then my favorite, Crustified, which is, and it's the perfect, because it's the justified thing of Raylan Givens leaned way back in the chair with the cowboy hat with his gun out, except it's crusty.
Yeah.
And it's Crustified. Fuck
That's
me,
good.
that's funny.
Yeah.
There was one with Maggie sitting at the table in front of the rest of her family, and it's Suck Session. I was like, okay, that's an honorable mention. I'll give you that one.
They're trying.
Yeah. Or the Mozarks. Yeah.
Nice touches. No expense was spared with this episode so far.
No, they fucking went for it. In the second half of this, Marge goes to Wiggum to be like, this isn't over. I think this guy, the debt collector, I don't know that it's ever said, but in the credits, that guy's name is listed as Costas Becker. So I'm going to call him Costas from now on, or Becker. Stay tuned to find out which one I pick. Yeah. Oh, the anticipation. She's like, this guy's got something to do with Homer's disappearance, and I think Ned has something to do with it, as crazy as that sounds. And Wiggum is fucking dismayed as shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, look what they did to my beautiful Baba Ghoul, or whatever he calls
my Goomba.
Goomba, there we go.
Yeah.
And it's fucking Fat Tony's head in the shape of a donut with frosting and sprinkles on it. I may never eat another donut again, as he's eating a donut.
Yeah. Wiggum peeling off of his duty, his cop shirt too, is so good.
Yeah, Wiggum quits, takes off his badge and his gun and his cop shirt. I think on the way out he says, "Hey Eddie, if you see Lou, tell him he's the chief now."
I think he's like, the devil has come to Springfield, I think is how he puts it.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah.
Marge is not gonna settle for this, and she does a little investigating of her own. She sees from the security footage that Becker is driving the Texas Oil Man's car. So she, while she's in the police station, uses Wiggum's computer to look up Texas Oil Man's address, which is where we are keeping Homer. Which is where the henchmen are keeping Homer, which they don't specify, but then you start looking around and you're like, oh, this is the Texas Oil Man's house, 100%. At this point, we get another flashback to Papa Flanders, Ned Flanders' granddad, Ned the First, played by Timothy Oliphant. And he's Ned thinks the world of his grandpa, that he's just this perfect, honorable man. And so that's what we think we're about to see here when the Sislak brothers get the fucking drop on him in the barbershop. And Grandpa Flanders has the barber take young Ned outside so he doesn't see this, and then he takes bribes from the Sislak brothers. He is actually a dirty cop piece of garbage.
Yeah.
And then says,
his words, a good time Charlie.
Yep, good time Charlie.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got a reputation to uphold. Do you mind if I knock one of your brothers through the window? He's just like, take your pick, go for it. Yeah. And he does, hucks one of them through the goddamn window.
Yeah.
And then we get Papa Flanders out fucking partying, and Papa Flanders parties hard. Yeah. Holy shit. And then they drive to a motel parking lot where they're meeting up with the fucking mafia. That the Sislaks have gotten in bed with the mafia in order to spread meth around the town. So they're selling meth. They get it from the mafia, and then they gotta pay the mafia their share. And that's when they decide that they think they got the drop on the mafia goons of no, why would we Why would we give you a share? Like, we don't need you guys. So there's this huge standoff followed by a huge shootout in the parking lot of this motel. And Papa Flanders ducks and hides under a car and prays to God of like, oh, if you just let me survive this, I'll be the best man you can think. And he does survive it, steps out, and the lead Sislak brother is the only other survivor. And he's like, oh, we made it. And fucking Papa Flanders just guns him down.
Yeah, incredible.
And takes a big Pan Am bag with $170,000 in it. And then there's another survivor, and it's Becker the debt collector. And we see that he has gotten his eye injury. His eye is all fucked up. And so he's kind of got the drop on Papa Flanders, who, like, goes to hand him the money and then, like, slips on the ice. Does he slip on the ice or trip on something and falls into him and gets fucking stabbed?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he wasn't giving him the money. He had stuffed the money in that hollowed out tree already. So he stuffs the money in the tree and then gets accidentally murdered by the debt collector.
And then how does the tree fall?
The cops come flying in, responding to this big shootout, and they fucking slip on the ice or something. They run into the fucking tree, and we see it go rolling down the hill.
Yeah, it was a nice touch.
Yeah, and that's the log that Ned's head crashed into when he found the money after falling down that hill. Back at the Texas Oil Man's house, Homer is still in hot water. He's tied to a fucking chair. And this is where we find out that the two hitmen are married. It is their 10th wedding anniversary, and she is pissed that, like, we never get to go on vacation. We're not even celebrating our anniversary properly. And the Irish guy henchman is like, that's, she's always like this. And then Homer, like, fuels the flames of the fight, like gets him fighting. And then, so they've left a meat cleaver on the counter and he's rubbing his ropes against it, trying to get untied while they have a fucking knockdown, beat the shit out of each other fight.
This is trying to murder somebody.
At one point, she's akimbo butcher knives coming at him, and then they both get a hold of a gun that they're fucking. And in the meantime, the pot on the stove has boiled over, and the whole fucking house is on fire.
And it's burning quick.
And it goes up quick, the Texas Oil Man's house. And at one point, they both, like, are pointing guns at each other and then just start making out. They're, like, full-on Mr. and Mrs. Smithing.
Good pull.
And they're standing in the living room making out, and Homer's kind of got a little bit of a, guys, we got to get out of here, but also, like, shit, what am I going to do sort of vibe. And because the house is on fire, the goddamn bathtub from upstairs collapses through the ceiling and murders both of them.
Did not see that coming.
Nope. And the animation is so good because it happens so fast. Like, it's just, they're standing there and then they're not.
Yeah. And Homer's like, guys?
Yeah, man, they ain't walking away
from that.
Yeah, and because he's tied to a chair in a burning house, so he's fucking panicking. And he's like trying to make the chair hop to the door. He's like, core burning, worse than house. He's sweating. And he finally can't take, he collapses and drifts off, and then you see hands pull him out, and then his eyes open, and it's Marge. Marge pulled him out of that burning house, having found where Texas Oil Man lives from Wiggum's computer earlier.
Nice touch. I didn't see that coming. I should have put two and two together, but I didn't.
Yeah. In the meantime, Ned is struggling with this. I have to give this guy this money or he's going to fucking kill Homer. So, like, we get a lot of Ned struggling with himself in this episode. And he finally is like, I got to do it, I guess. I got to fucking steal back this money from this goddamn orphanage. So he sneaks into the orphanage and goes to the safe, but it's got a lock on it, and he's like, "Ah, fuck, I don't know what to do." Just then Barb comes in like, "What are you doing here?" And Ned bangs Barb in order to get the safe key off of her neck, which she wears it on a necklace around her neck. And we don't see that he has the key right away, but he's like buttoning his shirt and she's fucking pulling her pants up. And she goes, "I'm going to go down to the fridge and get a Faygo. You want one?"
Yeah.
Not often you get Faygo mentioned, but I was like, hell yeah. Yeah, I want a Faygo.
And Ned like requests a specific flavor too.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it,
He just real solemnly, he's like, grape if they got it. Faygo grape soda, real tasty. Real fucking tasty treat.
I've heard their orange is delightful.
I'm not a big fan of orange soda, but it is a good one of those, yes. I'm a big fan of Red Pop, which is their strawberry.
Okay, oof. Well, that's a kind of soda I cannot get into. But man, if I was going to trust one of them, it'd be Faygo's. They have proven that they can nail the fruit flavored sodas.
Even their cola and their root beer, perfectly fine.
Okay.
I've
heard it's decent root beer. Yep.
I would put the root beer below Barks and A&W, but above like a mug.
Okay.
That's about where I would put it in the root beer hierarchy.
If you had to guess, top 5 best-selling root beers, it's Barks and A&W fighting for the top spot.
Yeah. I bet Mug is in there.
Mug. Dad's is a pretty big one.
Oh, right. I bet that one that they have at like every brewery has it. Is it 1917?
1919, I think.
There you go. I bet
that would be. I think we did. Look at that. Look at us.
I bet we did
knowledge.
It. Yeah. I bet that 1919 sells more than Dad's. Until you said it, I forgot Dad's existed.
If we were Family Feud it right now, you would have confidently given high fives to your aunts after coming up with 1919.
Yeah, we'd have just run the table. We'd have the whole board.
Yeah.
We'd be hugging. Steve Harvey'd be dancing. Like, yeah, we just fucking wrecked house on that bad boy. Name a 6th root beer.
Yeah. Ooh, boy. Then it comes down to shit like naming Faygo.
Right.
You know, or like, I'm sure fucking Great Value has a root beer.
Yeah.
You know, like,
or who makes the glass bottle ones? They make a root beer, a sarsaparilla, and a cream soda.
Yeah.
They're like old-timey brown glass bottles.
Been around since I was a kid.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, I don't know that I've seen one recently. I think they're just when I was a kid.
Yeah, but a small town gas station would have them in North Dakota.
Yeah, real ornate glass bottles, ridged, like designs on them. Yeah, I remember drinking a lot of that cream soda.
God, I forgot about those. Jesus, that's a good... if you worked at a Cenex in the early 90s, give us a message. Tell us what the brand of that is.
Yeah, what fucking brand was that? Gotta try and find that. I should drink more root beer. No, I fucking shouldn't. I should drink more water. God. As soon as I said it, I was like, no, you shouldn't, you doughy. God damn it.
Say bitch. You wanted to.
Bitch, you doughy bitch. What's the problem? You're not fucking sticky enough on any given day? You think you ought to have some goddamn root beer? You fucking... butter chunk. God,
laying in the tub drinking room temp 2 liters of root beer.
Shit. Whew. If you're hankering for a root beer, do you have a preferred not flavor, but brand? Or are you just grabbing whatever they got?
Yeah, pretty much. If I wanted a root beer, if I'm having root beer, odds are I'm in a restaurant and someone else orders it. I'm like, you know what? I haven't had a root beer in fucking ages. Let's do it.
I think Barks is the canonical root beer. I think if I want a root beer, I'm buying a Barks, even above an A&W.
I think I'd lean that way too.
That 1919, if you get it like at a brewery, is real fucking good. Or like a bougie downtown-y kind of fucking slightly upscale bar food restaurant, like a root beer. A 1919 is very good.
They were early into the artisanal root beer game too, so dance with the one you came with.
Yeah, and they like got in early when craft beers were a thing because they were sold in kegs and cheaper than the big ones. So that's what everybody bought. You can buy a goddamn, what do they call them? A pup keg or a pony keg? The little, like the size of a big watermelon keg. Yep. You can buy those at some liquor stores. I've seen them.
No shit, really?
That's what you should be taking into the tub with you.
Yeah, got the hand pump.
got the root beer keg resting on the toilet seat.
Do you remember? Do you think they still sell those? We call them a party ball. I don't know how many ounces of beer were. They came in a cardboard box with like a giant bag of beer on the inside, a little chintzy hose with a little pump on it.
Yeah, I wonder if they do. That's what we called them too, were party balls, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that they still do.
I think if you took the top rack out of your fridge, they'd fit in there real nice.
Would they? I don't know.
Tight squeeze with that top rack. You had to take that top rack out.
I think the only time I ever saw those, they were in a bathtub full of ice.
Or I've seen them in a sink where there wasn't nearly enough ice, and you were drinking pretty room temp beer because of that.
A sink is pretty smart though. If you get enough ice in the bottom and around the sides, I bet that's all right. That's bad teen planning, is what that is.
Yeah.
It's
not putting it on the bottom. You got to get that layer of ice on the bottom.
100%. Yeah, that's like packing a cooler. Ice goes first.
Yeah.
You need some ice in the bottom.
Yeah. That's a rookie mistake.
Yeah. Fucking amateurs. So she goes to get Faygo. Barb does. Woof. Long road back. And Ned has the safe key that he's taken during their coitus. And he goes into the safe, takes the fucking money. He's racked with fucking guilt. Driving away, and we do the shot from the Umbrella Academy. If you haven't seen Umbrella Academy, you've probably seen it in meme form of the two cars driving past each other and them both turning in slow motion to look at each other, because in his head he's going like, okay, thank God, it's a terrible thing, but at least Homer's gonna be safe. And then Marge comes driving by with Homer having saved him, and they do the drive past slow motion look at each other, and that's when goddamn Barb, who has bragged about her high school javelin career in the first half of this episode, hucks that goddamn flagpole with the spear on the end of it. It goes crashing through the back window of Ned's car and hooks the loop on the Pan Am bag, and Ned crashes his car. And so we get Ned kind of coming back out of unconsciousness, and Homer is there, and he's like, he opens the door, and it looks like he's gonna save Ned, but of course not. Homer saves the fucking bag of money from the burning car instead of saving Ned.
Real peak shithead Homer here.
Unbelievable. But Ned does escape. He makes a break for it, leaving the crowd of bystanders, including Barb there, going, oh my God, Homer Simpson's a hero, because that piece of shit Ned stole the money from the orphanage, and look, Homer got it back.
He tried to ruin my marriage. I'm a happily married woman.
Right, and then Sideshow Mel is there too, going, oh, he did, yes. Yeah. Like, anything to keep your weird open marriage under wraps, Mel, son of a bitch. Not that it's weird. You do you. Ned ducks out of there. He escapes. And then we cut to 3 years later. Homer is doing an ad for his auto body shop business that he runs now. He's still got a burnt up, fucked up arm. I don't know if that's meant to be a reference to anything, because it's not played on at all.
Yeah.
He burns it getting the money out, and then you see that it's still all burnt and fucked up, like scar tissue-y. It's gross.
Yeah. Kind of gross, yeah.
I assume that this, like, maybe someone from Fargo has a weird fucked up burn scar, because this is Fargo is what they're doing here. or at least one of the things they're taking pretty heavy inspiration from is the TV show Fargo.
Oh, interesting.
That's like the main thing that they're doing. Yeah. So he's doing a fucking ad for his auto business. Everything's going great with fucking Homer, except Marge hates Homer. It's 3 years later, and she is still talking about what a huge piece of shit he is for saving the bag of money instead of saving Ned. And she's not wrong.
Nope.
But she is keeping up appearances. Like, hey, guys, thanks for coming. We'll see you next time. And then as soon as the door shuts, she's right back into laying into Homer.
Yeah. But he's a good father now with all this money, so she just kind of puts up with it.
He's a good provider. And then we see that, like, Bart is a good boy now. He's a thriving Boy Scout because he has a hero dad to look up to. And Lisa is super popular because everybody wants to meet her dad, the hero. So she's got like 100 RSVPs to her birthday. And that's when Homer, it's kind of like offhandedly like, hey, Dad, you got a blank postage card from Wyoming. And Homer's like shifty is like, oh, it must have been a mistake, and tears it up and throws it away. And then we get that insane sequence of Homer like switching vehicles and disguises. It's this long montage where he's like, he drives the car a ways and drops it for a different car and puts on a disguise and then does that a dozen more times. Drives past Ned's house, which is abandoned and all graffitied up, like
vandalized.
Like fuck you, Ned, you scoundrel on the garage door. That was weird to see. Eventually, Homer gets to Ned, who's living in the woods, in a cabin in the woods. It's winter, everything's snowed in, and Homer's bringing him supplies. And Ned is like, oh, thank you so much, Homer. You're the only reason we're staying alive up here. 3 years he's been gone, so this has been going on for 3 years. It's at this point Ned admits that when he donated that money in his grandpa's name, it was kind of for him too.
Yeah.
Which got hinted at like real subtly in the first half of the episode, but Ned finally admits that. And he's, feeling remorse for bringing this down on all of us. The boys out there too, Rod and Todd, are at the cabin. And that's when there's a knock on the door and everybody panics, but it's Marge. She followed him, assuming that he was like hooking up with a fucking mistress or something, but then sees that it's Ned. Ned explains, oh, Homer's done so much for us all these past few years, and she pretty much forgives Homer, like, oh, you're actually very selfless, Homer. That's good. So that wraps that up. And then Homer's like, wait, did anyone follow you? And that's when the goddamn debt collector opens up with that fucking belt-fed 50 cal light machine gun. Like what Rambo 3 uses. Makes fucking Swiss cheese out of that cabin. And they take off running, and Ned is like, oh, you and Marge go that way. I'm the one he wants. And he's, as soon as he gets the collector, like, shreds up the house with that machine gun, and then walks down there, walks in the door, sees that some floor planks have been moved and there's footprints leading out underneath it. And he just to himself, in that fucking like dignified Brian Cox voice, just goes, oh, great, more walking. Like he's so annoyed, like of all the things, all this shit going on. And he's like annoyed that he has to walk more. He eventually catches up to Ned out on this frozen lake, and they're having their face off, and he tells Ned the truth about his grandpa, that he was a fucking crooked-ass, dirty-ass cop, dirtier than a hobo's handkerchief, which is a good line.
Yeah.
And we make a joke, because he tried to do this in the diner scene with Fat Tony. He, like, has a parable in his pocket. Like, have you ever heard the fable
the millipede?
Yeah, like Saint Lucifer and the millipede.
Yeah.
And he got cut off back then, and he starts to do it here, and then you just see like badoop badoop, and the fast forward slider goes sliding, and then it picks back up again just as he's going. The end. And Ned gets the fucking drop on him. He kicks the guy's book out of his coat pocket and then throws it. And for whatever insane reason, instead of just shooting Ned in the face and then going and getting his ledger.
At his leisure.
Instead, he goes running for the ledger, and a big crack forms in the ice and encircles him, and he falls through the ice and is dead in a fucking ridiculous, like, the crack has formed almost a circle that he's on, and it flips over and then keeps flipping like like one of those trash can lids with that you push down. Like, so comes flying back up the other side, still alive, and then back under again, and it goes too long. It's like fun.
One time he's getting bit by something.
Yeah, I think fish. Yep.
Yeah.
But eventually you see him just falling down into the water under the ice. And so Ned is fine. Everything's back to normal. They show Ned moving back in. They show fucking Barb like in bed dicking around on her phone while the goddamn sea captain puts his shirt back on.
Yeah, so good.
Looking like mournfully at the photo of Sideshow Mel.
He's not pleased with himself for being there.
Yep, he's not proud.
Yeah.
And then we get some prestige television music on the way out, and that wraps it up.
What a gem.
This is outstanding.
Yeah. So the scope of it is far beyond, I think, anything the Simpsons have ever done. And they knocked it. I mean, could have been funnier. Could have been, but I didn't need it to be funnier, but it could have been. But if I had to find a gripe, that's it.
Yeah, there's not a ton of jokes, but it's like, I'm kind of okay with that, because the few times they do crack a joke, it almost like takes you out of it. You're like, oh, no, right, this is a comedy. But like, I sat through most of this just going, they're doing a good fucking job of doing like the Simpsons do prestige television. Yeah. And I've never seen it, but from everything I read about this episode, this is Fargo. This is Fargo, the show. Especially the bit about like where they flash back to the 70s for a bit and then flash forward to where they're at. Like, I guess that's all straight from Fargo. I also got a little history of violence in this. Exactly.
That's what my notes were. It was a simple plan meets a history of violence.
Yeah, with them seeing Ned on the TV after the.
Yep. And Ed Harris's face was kind of goofed up. He was the leader of the.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could stand to watch those two Vigo movies again.
2 Cronenberg movies too. History of Violence and Eastern Promises.
Yeah. Well, there's 3 Vigo and Cronenbergs now because they just did Crimes of the Future. That came out
that's got Vigo in it, huh?
Yeah, that's Cronenberg starring Vigo.
Okay.
And that's a body horror one again. That's Cronenberg doing Cronenberg shit, from what I understand.
Yeah, he did those other 2 to pay off debt.
Yeah.
He was just a hired gun, but he made 2 great movies. I think we've mentioned it on the podcast. History of Violence, the last movie ever to be released on videotape, on VHS.
Yep, the last one to come out on VHS. Based on a comic? A graphic novel?
A graphic novel, yep.
To church it up a little, a goddamn graphic novel.
Yeah, look at us. Yeah. This is prestige podcasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's and always has been.
Yeah.
I think you get to see Vigo's horn in Eastern Promises.
Yeah, maybe a glimpse, because he's fighting naked in like a Turkish bathhouse.
Yeah, that bathhouse fight. I think
Hard not to have horn during that.
Yeah, you're right. We are prestige podcasts. Yeah.
Ever been in a fight in a Turkish bathhouse? Tough to be modest.
You had just finished saying that we are a prestige podcast, and I immediately said, hey, I think you get to see Viggo's horn in that movie.
Are we going to...
I loved this. I think this is fucking great. I think this is such a good episode of The Simpsons. Like,
and if I would have known that it was an hour-long thing, I would have been skeptical, but it was so good right off the bat.
Yeah, they nail it. They nail the prestige drama look and vibe and the music and the shots that you see, like, and the inclusion of chapters that are written in the world, you know, on a fucking floor mat or whatever, like, or just like just the cinematography of it, like when Homer gets that blank postcard from Wyoming, he tears it up into little pieces and drops it, and then that like fades into snow falling while he's driving to go see Ned. Yeah. Like they did their fucking work.
Yeah.
This is a good episode. Good couple of episodes, whatever you want to call it.
And will we be able to come back from that? Can we go back to normal episodes?
Can we go back to normal, Nathan? Can you go home again?
Can we go home again? We will find out with episode 7, Portrait of a Lackey on Fire. Episode begins with a litter of new Dobermans being born at the Burns residence. Never thought of that with all those dogs. Probably going to have some pups.
Mm-hmm. Never thought of it, but yep.
Yeah. Those dogs have to be puppies at some point. The mauling dummies have all fallen into disrepair, so fucking Homer has been selected to be the new dog training dummy. So we get a very good montage of Homer just doing mundane work tasks while 6 to 7 Doberman puppies just hang off of him the entire time.
Yeah. Just chewing the shit out of him and him wincing.
Yeah, he ain't having a great time, but he's not in agony either.
I like that Smithers tells him, oh, don't worry, they don't have their adult teeth yet. They have their much sharper puppy teeth.
Yeah, yeah, that was nice. It turns out Burns raises these to send out to other rich people that need guard dogs. During this time, while they're talking and waiting for the rich people to show up, Smithers kind of makes some kind of small talk with Burns, and Burns chastises him for trying to socialize with him. Burns often likes to put Smithers in his place.
Yeah. How dare you assume familiarity with your betters?
Your betters. Such a good term.
Jesus, Monty.
While leaving the dog kennel area, he finds Smithers crying in one of the dog kennels. Smithers actually opens up to Homer, telling him that he's going to be alone forever because he's in love with a man that doesn't love him. Homer's like, that's got to be a million people looking for a guy like you. And Homer gets to see the paltry options available on Springfield's online gay community called U.S. Mail.
Yeah.
I think is the name of the dating app for gay dudes in Springfield. But Homer vows to find him a suitable partner.
I love that Smithers just holds it up and starts flipping through, and it's a handful of the gay characters we've seen before. And then he's like, it's either guys like this or straight guys going through a phase. And he clicks on Disco Stew, and it's a short video of Disco Stew dancing, and he goes, Disco Stew is hetero-flexible, and does the splits. Holy shit, that's fucking funny. And I never thought about it, but I bet like actual gay dudes look at guys who claim to be hetero-flexible and are just like, okay, take it easy, straight guy.
Yeah. You and your wife will, whatever problem you're having, you'll figure it out. Stop gumming up the works for the rest of us.
You're just in the way. You're in the goddamn way.
It's like, what is it for straight dudes? It's the bots, the endless bots, like clearly fake accounts. It's like, what is to be gained? Who is stupid enough to I'm assuming the goal is to get money or information from you.
Which, has that ever worked? The bots on dating sites are the dumbest bots you've ever seen.
Your name is Applesauce. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You are wildly attractive and have exactly 4 photos. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing in your like information section. None of that. Okay.
All of your pictures are in front of French landmarks.
Yep. It is always fun when they do start up a chat though, like, hey, how are you? And then you can write anything and you can be like, oh, just sit here setting my dick on fire, you know, Thursdays, am I right? And they'll just write back like, that's so funny. I'm doing good too. Like, oh God, it is fun to mess with a bot just for funsies.
That is pretty good. Meanwhile, Burns is handing out his new puppies, but one puppy out of the what's a pile of puppies called? Litter.
Pile of puppies. Oh, the puppy pile. Yes, that's right. That poor dog had a big old pile. God damn,
Yeah.
She must
Had a lot
be
of
tired.
puppies. Yeah. Yeah.
Puppy pile.
So one little guy doesn't have a mean bone in his body, which of course disgusts Mr. Burns. So he just leaves the puppy with Homer. But as Burns leaves, a fashion billionaire by the name of Michael McGrath shows up to claim the puppy. He mentions, just casually, like in passing, mentions that he had a boyfriend. So of course, Homer's ears perk up to that, and he brings McGrath to meet Smithers. And any famous person doing this voice that you recognized?
Yeah, it's I never knew this guy's name, but I know his face. Victor Garber.
Oh, I'm not familiar either.
He looks kind of like Calvin Klein, or I'm
Okay.
sorry, Kevin Klein, not Calvin Klein, the designer.
He's kind of playing a Calvin Klein type. That's his character, yeah.
He's in Titanic and Milk and Argo.
No shit. I'd have to recognize him then. I'm seeing all those movies.
You would 100% recognize him.
Okay.
You'd be like, oh yeah, he looks kind of like Kevin Klein.
He got a lot of roles that Kevin Klein turned out. Kevin Klein, is he out of Hollywood? You never see that guy in anything anymore.
God, I hope not. I like Kevin Klein.
Kevin Kline's one of the more oddball, that dude was a legit movie star for the 80s and 90s, late 80s into the 90s. He was in a lot of movies.
He's important ones too, like Wild Wild West.
Yeah, he is in Wild Wild West.
Silverado.
God, a young Kevin Kline is in Silverado. You're right.
Alongside, who the fuck
else? A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh yeah, he's in A Fish Called Wanda. What's that country radio movie that people like?
Country radio.
Prairie Home Companion.
Oh, he's in that. Interesting.
Yeah. I could see him being I could see him fitting into the fucking, what's the, Tenenbaum's guy? Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson. It's funny that
I could see him fitting into the Wes Anderson verse.
Yeah, that he'd say yes to the role that Bill Murray can't do because he's busy.
Right. Like, well, I suppose now that I think about it, he would probably play who Bill Murray is playing.
Yeah.
So maybe there's not room for him in those.
In the Wes Anderson inn.
But maybe Bill Murray could have been in Wild Wild West instead.
There we go. Yeah. We could retcon the shit out of this.
Kevin Kline. Yeah. Interesting career.
Yeah. So they do have a little bit of small talk, and he asks Smithers out on a date, and Smithers accepts. They go to Luigi's, and by God, they are hitting it off. So much so that Michael whisks Waylon off to, like a beachside resort, would you call it?
Yeah, somewhere
fancy thing.
I think it's in Milan. He keeps mentioning Milan, so I assume they're in Italy for all this.
And Marge catches wind of Homer's matchmaking and demands to meet Michael. I mean, demands. Like, she is relentless. Because Michael is a judge on Marge's favorite reality show, America's Got Fabric.
Which is very funny.
Yeah.
I love how fucking, Looney Tunes Marge is.
Yeah.
Like, she, as soon as because she finds out at first that, like, oh, Smithers is dating this guy, and Marge is like, oh my God, I need every detail. She's like so into it. And then once she finds out that it's this Michael DeGroff, then she is losing her mind.
Yeah. So like, and Homer's trying to avoid her, but
He's trying to go to work.
Yeah. She will not be deterred.
That scene, because it starts in the kitchen of her just like, oh my God, you gotta tell me everything. And then he gets in his car and she's already in it, like, details, I need the details. And she's talking, and then it pans over. Homer has gotten out of the car and is in her car trying to drive away, and then she's on the windshield of the car. You have to tell me everything. And then it goes one more and cuts away, and he's sitting on the bench waiting for the bus. And she's on the bench with him, insisting that she get every detail. We don't see, like, complete fangirled out Marge very often.
Very rarely. My God, very rarely.
Holy shit, this is fucking funny. Probably, like, this is even a step above that Sarah Wiggum heist episode where Marge is so hyped for the Met Gala.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. I would put this above that, yeah.
And she was hyped for that, but she is on a different fucking insane level.
She was still reserved. Like, she wasn't, like, completely geeking out like she does in this one.
Yeah, but not here. Losing her mind.
So Marge, now that she knows what's up, convinces Waylon to let her throw them a backyard party at the Simpson home, which she does, and the party's a goddamn hit, because everybody loves Michael. He's being sassy like he is on the show, and all the ladies like that.
Yeah.
And everyone's having a good time, and Michael seems to really enjoy it there. And before they leave, he announces that his next new fashion line will be made in Springfield, in the old factory that used to make fidget spinners, which I thought was a nice touch. One day, Bart, Homer, and Lisa they're just driving. They see the new factory. Lisa wants a chance to see the insides, but Homer's got an in because a lot of locals work there, including Barney. Barney lets them in, shows them around. Everything's cool until Lisa's dismayed to find out that the factory uses all sorts of noxious, dangerous chemicals. Like, there's like, everything's a dip. There's like a hound's tooth dip. Like,
so good. Which Gil falls into, I think.
Yes, he does.
When Gil is like stirring that huge vat of clothing dye, and then he lets go of the stick, but his arms are still in the same place. He's like, it's causing what my doctor calls living rigor mortis, and goes falling off of a catwalk.
He still has like good spirits when he's telling them that. Like,
he's just Gil's just happy to have a fucking job.
So Lisa is bummed and angry, and Bart looks over. What gives, Dad? I thought gay people were supposed to be better than us. I thought that was a nice touch.
It's a very funny joke, yep.
Later that night, so Homer brings the kids home. He's kind of like, oh boy, me introducing Smithers is what caused all this. And he's just having a few at Moe's like he does. And a bunch of the locals who work at the factory pop into Moe's. And he sees how brutal that job is on their health. They're like coughing up sparkles and shit. Like, it is not a good work environment.
Nobody's doing good.
Yeah. So he's faced with a moral dilemma because Homer goes and talks to Smithers. Now Smithers is truly faced with the dilemma because he's the one screwing this guy. So Smithers goes. I thought this was a nice touch. He's like, oh, what do I do? So he goes to the only other billionaire in town, a guy he knows pretty well, Mr. fucking Burns.
Yeah.
And in my favorite B story, maybe it's a C story.
God, I was dying this whole time. Like, talk about the thing, Nathan.
One of the rich people, I can't remember which one it is. Rupert Murdoch gives him a puzzle, like just empty the box onto the table and put the pieces together. And Mr. Burns somehow doesn't know what a puzzle is. He's just baffled by the whole concept.
He's given me a series of misshapen wooden pieces, Waylon. Yes, sir, it's a puzzle. Well, it won't be for long. We'll get to the bottom of this.
And I think one could imply he's been gone for at least a few weeks.
Long time.
If not longer than that. He goes into his office. He is still there. He's now at least figured out vaguely what he's supposed to be doing. He's like, I found a clue. Some of the pieces look similar.
He has pieced together that they interlock. I've deduced that some of these are meant to interlock together.
Yeah.
Waylon again is like, yeah, it's a puzzle. And Burns is just like, not much longer. No. What is Rupert trying to say?
Oh my God. And Smithers finally opens up to Burns about his relationship, which Burns is like cool with, but just can't understand the concept that he's gay.
Can't wrap his head around it.
Yeah. But then when Burns finds out that he's dating Michael DeGraff, his ears perk up, and Burns is really into this information. He's like, tells him you have to marry him ASAP, even if you have to pretend to be gay, which is a nice touch.
Yeah. Oh, the downside is you'll need to pretend to be gay.
Yeah. But he's like, you have to marry it because he's one of the most ruthless businessmen on the planet, which, of course, Mr. Burns would greatly admire.
Yeah.
They use the term fast fashion in this episode. I'm not familiar with that. Were you?
Me neither, no. I don't know if this is just meant to be like... I don't know if it's fast as in, like, a new thing is in all the time, or if it means fast as in just crank out this schlock to sell it.
Produce it fast,
Yeah, it's one or the other. I don't know if it means like literal speedy or trashy, the way you would use the way for like fast food.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure because I also had never heard it.
And so Smithers is driving, I don't know, still kind of doesn't know what to do about all this. And during this time, the fucking factory explodes. There is some excellent animation.
So
it's
good.
It's like spitting out like rainbows and sparkles, and like the river turns plaid, which is so good.
While everything else has just this green, sick Chernobyl haze to it.
Which... There are some scenes in this whole scene that are straight from the HBO Chernobyl series.
That's what I figured especially when Smithers said, I always figured if there would be a Chernobyl in Springfield, it would be our plant.
Yeah. And there's like the helicopter going over and crashing because that's from the show. Anyone out there, if you have HBO Max and you have not watched Chernobyl, start tonight.
Really? It's that good, huh?
Incredible. One of the best things I've ever seen.
Is that a documentary or a scripted show?
Scripted, based on,
Okay.
Yeah, and only like 5 episodes. You knock it out pretty quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll watch that.
Yeah, it is incredible.
I think it's on my fucking HBO watch list. I think it's been on there for 3 years now, whenever that fucking thing came out.
2, 3. It's definitely post-COVID, but yeah, it's a couple, 2, 3 years, yeah.
Are you currently watching anything? I am not watching shit. I have not. I have fallen off of every television show.
For the first time in years, in literal years, I'm actually keeping up with the show. I'm watching The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah. I hear that's very good.
Yeah, it definitely keeps you engaged. You are very glued to what's happening.
I like the
Only
game.
1 episode left.
Okay.
Now you could just watch it from beginning to end. You don't have to wait for anything.
That's how I prefer to watch them anyway. I love the game. The game is legit devastating. Like, the game will ruin you.
And I think there's some scenes that are taken exactly from the game.
That's what I've heard. I like catch people talking about it on Twitter on Sundays, and there's, from what I understand, like I definitely recognize a few characters, like not just, Ellie and Joel.
But interesting. Yeah. The side people.
Yeah. I've heard it's real good. The second game is also very good, but it's it came out the summer of 2020, and boy, was it hard to enjoy a game about an end of the world infection in summer or early fall of 2020.
Yeah.
That was
Never thought of that, but very good point.
That was unfortunate fucking timing. Yeah. So that was a tough one. I remember playing that being like, oh, this is good, but boy, I don't know that I can do this right now.
Yeah.
I need to play Animal Crossing or something.
Like a palate cleanser.
Yeah. Give me colors. I need Mario Kart. Where's Mario Kart?
Where's Tetris? Simplicity of the blocks, they call to me.
Oh, yep. Need it. By the by, have you seen the trailer for that goddamn Tetris movie?
What? A Tetris movie?
Oh, okay, wait. I see what I've done. I'm sorry. It's not. It is a movie about the making of Tetris and the history of Tetris.
Oh, interesting. No.
How Nintendo got a hold of it. It's not the blocks planning a bank heist or something. Like, it's not the L and the 7. Like, the S doesn't have to sacrifice itself so the Z can get away. Straight line piece doesn't double cross the gang at the end of the heist movie.
The little squares, the scrappy one that everyone likes.
Yeah. No, it's the story of I think Atari? No, not Atari. It's the story of whoever going to Russia to get the rights for Tetris.
Interesting. God, that could be fascinating.
Yeah, it looks good. It also looks like, boy, I don't know maybe that there were so many car chases in the history of Tetris, but okay. I feel like we've Hollywooded this up a little bit, you guys.
Got a hunch on that one. That might not have been that extreme.
Yeah, like, I know things were weird in Russia in the 80s, but I don't know that...
weird.
Like, I don't know that the guy who's trying to get the rights to Tetris so they can put it on the Game Boy ever pointed a gun at anybody, but okay.
Shit was real.
It looks pretty amusing.
Yeah, Now I'm intrigued. So Smithers eventually meets Michael, and I don't know where Michael's even staying, a fancy hotel or something like that, and lets him know, hey man, this can't be. Like, are you truly this bad? Like, because he lets him know what's happening, and Michael's like, yeah, that's just the price we pay for this.
Yeah.
He's like, with fast fashion, to be successful, you have to cut corners. And he tells Smithers that for once he should do what's right for him, not what's right for others. And it seems like he's going to accept that. He's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do something for me. He does that until he sees Michael angrily hit the puppy away when it spills some wine.
Yeah.
And that's a bridge too far. He can't put up with that. So the next thing we see is Michael's jet flying away from Springfield, with Smithers, Homer, and Marge standing on the balcony as shards of clothing fall around them, which is also kind of from Chernobyl. Which, God, the visuals in this are so goddamn good.
Yeah, it seems like it was a fun one to draw.
Yeah. Smithers is sad, but the plus is he gets to keep the cute puppy, which he puts at his Tinder profile picture, and that makes his U.S. mail account blow up. So all sorts of dudes are interested in that Smithers hog now that he's got a cute little puppy. He probably put some more tasteful than that, but
yeah,
we get an ending that is worth mentioning.
Amazing.
So all of this has happened, and yet still in his office, he has finally mastered the puzzle, and he's excited. Smithers like, good job, Mr. Burns, and he's like, now I can do anything. It's like. And he's about to go back to being an evil billionaire. That's what Smithers does. Like, hey, I got this new one for you. It has unicorns on it. It's pretty hard. Some of the unicorns look alike. But fucking Burns' quote, clear my calendar, lock the door, and turn up the Wagner.
So good.
And
Ride of the Valkyries starts playing. That's so the most dramatic music to put a fucking puzzle together.
Yeah. This was a very fun episode.
When
Holy smokes.
Smithers comes in and Burns is so proud of himself. Like, look, Smithers, I've completed it. Rupert sent a photo of a hot air balloon for some reason. What could it mean? And Smithers goes over there and goes, yep, it's a hot air balloon, just like the photo on the box. And Burns goes, there was a photo on the box? That could have saved me so much time. Can you imagine how long it would take to put together a puzzle if you don't have the photo? Holy shit.
So good. Oh my God, this was good.
Just the idea that Burns doesn't know what a puzzle is.
A toy that's been around for hundreds of years.
Puzzles are older than Mr. Burns.
Yeah, which few things are.
No, next to nothing is. World War I veteran Mr. Burns doesn't know about puzzles. Oh, that B story was amazing.
Yeah, that was good. Very good. Holy shit.
Also, you know what it made me want to do? Put a fucking puzzle together.
Challenge yourself. Pour out a big boy on the old coffee. A good puzzle. You need like a card table. You need the big square.
Yeah, I bet I could do a puzzle, or at least a normal size, what I think of as a normal size puzzle on my coffee table. It's not very, wide. It's long, but not wide. But I bet it's wide enough.
That's what she said. Oh boy.
Hey-o. Brother, it is neither long nor wide. Okay.
She's saying in that voice, it's not very wide, but it's long enough.
And then says, hey-o. Hey-o.
Making the worst of a bad situation.
Making chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yeah, I guess it's long enough to we could try start, see if it's going to work.
You know what? Not, you can go. We
just put away the box.
I had fun, but if that's how you're going to talk about my ween, you can go. It's fine.
It's long enough. She said it.
Yeah, but it was the tone. If you
that's the hurtful tone.
Sure, if you see it in writing, it seems like this is all fine. But it's also weird that she put it in writing.
Yeah. She thought you were going to sue her. He seemed very hurt by the whole exchange. So. Yeah. Hate to get litigious on my first dates, but
yeah, just so you know, I've bring out a fucking clipboard from under the bed.
Really gonna need you to sign off on this.
Let's try the next episode. What I have listed as episode 8, but is actually episode 9, I think. This is 8 on the Disney Plus numbering.
It's getting all dicked up now.
It's all dicked up. The episode is Mothers and Other Strangers. The family has discovered Muttflix, the TV channel for dogs. Real thing. It's not called Muttflix, but it's a real thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, TV for dogs.
Wild stuff.
You leave it on while you're at work and the dog watches television, I think is the gist of it. There's also a cat one, which I tried there's a cat channel on Roku that's just like birds and shit, like things that your cat should be interested in. My cat could give a fuck about the cat channel. Not a fan.
You could be getting eaten by a dozen sparrows, and she would just sit there and dazily watch as it happens. Yeah,
lazily take a cat bath while I am murdered by crows. It is Mother's Day, and poor Marge gets some trash-ass gifts from her kids. Lisa has made a mug. It goes in one of the several Lisa's mugs drawers that Marge has in her kitchen, and then gets a all fucked up shitty mug from Bart.
She puts in his drawer, closes so violently it breaks because it doesn't fit.
And that drawer is labeled Bart's Mugs? ? I bet as a mom, when you have young kids of that age, I bet you get some pretty limp dick Mother's Day presents.
Man, I couldn't deliver much as a child, but by God, I was good at arts and crafts. So my mom was getting some pretty top shelf, as much as anything from a 7-year-old can be top shelf.
Sure, yep. I remember it being a part of school. Like around Mother's Day, you always like made an arts and crafts project for your mom. There was always something you got from school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or I remember making, I guess not necessarily for your mom, but it was for your mom. Like make a Christmas tree ornament, you know?
Oh, sure.
Like,
Yep. Especially as a young kid, like fourth grade and below.
That's when we were like 17.
That would have been strange. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, get together and make a brooch for your mom. That kid shaves.
Yeah, we're going to pass out the scissors and glue sticks.
That kid and his mom don't talk. Like, you want him to make a brooch?
They are beyond that.
I don't think a brooch is going to save that.
Yeah.
If anything, that's something he'll circle back to in his adulthood.
Oh, you made her a bolo tie with the Fox Racing logo. She'll love it. Are you sure this isn't for you, Dylan? Dylan.
Seems, boy, if there's a name for a kid that would make a Fox Racing bolo for himself, it's Dylan. Good
Levi?
work. Top fucking marks. Those two names, I can think of 3 kids from high school, 2 Levi's and a Dylan. All 3 of them would have worn a fucking bolo tie. 2 of those 3 would have worn a Fox Racing bolo tie.
Yeah.
Homer is like struggling over here and breaks out fucking crying. Homer misses Mona, his mom. He's very saddened by his mom.
Been a while since we've had a Mona episode.
A long time. Very long time. Lisa recommends that he goes to therapy. They can't because they already have a bunch of fucking past due bills from Homer's therapist. But Lisa points out, oh, you can just use the Nuts therapy app. Nuts with a goddamn Z.
Yeah.
Therapy app. And I know that's a thing. Like, what's the one that advertises on all the podcasts?
Yeah.
BetterHelp. I think
There
that's
you
the
go.
one.
Good catch.
Online therapy on your phone. I like that they paint it to be pretty fucking shitty on this show. Yeah. It's like a goddamn clicker game. It's constantly
like Farmville.
Yeah, it's like hitting you up with the microtransactions. Like
for $2.99, you can upgrade to a better therapist.
Yeah, the first therapist is like, oh, well, that's easy. All you have to do is, and then it stops and pops up to continue your session. Click this for 99 cents. Fucking crooks.
Yeah.
We get a lot of flashbacks. We get one to 30 years ago of Mona leaving, and then we flash back to Homer at 16, which is where most of this takes place. We get Homer coming back in the student driver car, which Hans Moleman is the student the driving instructor, and we get Skinny Wiggum. Real weird.
Nice to see.
Real weird to see Skinny Wiggum. Wiggum like goes walking away from the scene of this minor car crash and is just like, donuts, what are those? And goes in there. You're like, oh, okay, all right.
How do they sell these things?
which whatever, we're having fun with this cartoon, but like we have seen like super fat Wiggum as a boy.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
So, but whatever, we're having fun.
Yeah. If you noticed I can't remember if it's really young Homer or teenage Homer confronting middle-aged Abe at the kitchen table about the truth about his mom. If you noticed, fucking Abe for dinner is eating a can of Lonely Man chili and just drinking pure vodka.
Yeah.
That is about as depressing as it gets. And there's a book on the shelf, What to Expect When You're Not Expecting Anything, with just a sad man's face on it.
Ridiculous. There's another
book.
book.
Ain't doing so hot.
There's another book on that shelf entitled How to Yell at Your Kids So They Listen.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Jesus. But at the same time, kudos on him for like buying a book, like trying to, like
Definitely out of his comfort zone.
Neither of our dads would have done that.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't have bought a book to try
Holy shit.
reach their kid, even if it were in a shit way.
So I never thought of this. Homer's an only child, isn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no. He has a half brother. Yeah. Holy.
Whew.
That's a deep cut that needs to come back.
The Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, yeah.
Herbert Powell.
There you go. Holy shit. It's been 20 episodes, I bet.
That realization crashed into both of our brains at the exact same time. Oh, God. Well, flashing way back to that very first one, the first Herbert Powell episode, how does Abe put it with, like, because Herbert Powell's mom is like a skanky carny that he met at the carnival. And during that flashback of Abe telling the story of how Herbert came to be, he goes, and she did things your mom would never do, like have sex for money. That's a line of dialogue from The Simpsons that has lived in my brain ever since.
Yeah, there was some good Abe dialogue back in those days.
Yeah. So young 16-year-old Homer gets a postcard from his mom from Utah, and we flash outside to an FBI van, and the two FBI agents like, oh, good idea to let one of her pieces of mail slip through so we can follow them if they act on it. And young Homer and Abe like have this little makeup moment of like, you know, bonding, and Abe vows to quit drinking and pours his fucking vodka out the window. And then Homer and Abe set off to Utah to find Mona. And as they're driving through the desert, we get the goddamn Space Coyote.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, it's just like a shot of them driving down the highway in the desert, and in the foreground, the Space Coyote is sitting on top of one of the mesas.
And that car, that weird, like, it's supposed to be some off-brand thing. We've seen that car in another episode, like a flashback episode, I believe.
Okay, I don't know that I didn't pay any attention to the car, I guess. I was too busy marking out at Space Coyote. But it's like a, I don't know, it looks kind of like, it's like a two-tone, not quite a Bel Air, but like it's a nice car.
Yeah, but it's like a little coupe too, like, which is pretty rare for that era.
Yeah. Space Coyote.
Yeah.
I love when the Space Coyote shows up.
Just think, at this point in the show, Johnny Cash has been dead for nearly 20 years.
Oh my God.
Think of that.
Oof.
And Space Coyote's so old, a healthy Johnny Cash voiced it.
Yeah.
That was like 1992, probably 93.
Yeah, not The Man Comes Around fucking shaking in the Hurt video, Johnny Cash.
Yes. His nose is growing another nose.
I don't know. I don't know why, but I will fucking mark out for a Space Coyote appearance every time.
It's an oddball one, though. I get it.
I think it's like an amalgamation of like, boy, I really do love Johnny Cash, and also I do really love like drug trip visuals in cartoons. So I did like that one.
God, what a weird thing we haven't went back to. There's like 6 Lisa gets stoned in some way. Like, that's a common reoccurring thing that happens in some of those early seasons.
Lisa has an addictive personality.
Yeah. Whether it's ponies or Corys, she's got a problem.
Loves them. Abe, like, it's kind of out of fucking nowhere and doesn't lead anywhere. Abe has this flashback to the war of him in a goddamn foxhole with a dying soldier buddy of his next to him. And the guy's like, I don't think I'm going to make it. And Abe's like, oh, you're going to be fine. Oh, wait, have you always not had a bottom half?
Yep.
Gross. And the guy's like, if you live through this, you got to give my dog tags to my wife or my girlfriend back home. And he gives them to him. And then we see him give them to young Homer, like, this is your responsibility now. And then we flash to the fucking modern day of Homer giving them to Bart.
Yeah, like Homer's like, oh, forgot that he's even wearing. Oh, yeah, he like opens his collar a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think Grandpa's like, there's 100-year-old woman that's going to be very excited to get that.
Unbelievable. That is, as far as truly shitty things go, that's a pretty shitty thing to be putting off.
Yeah.
They finally find Mona at a gas station in the Utah desert, and she's excited to see them. But before they can have their reunion, she sees the FBI agents who have followed them coming through the crowd to get her, and she takes off. So Homer and Abe go chasing after her, and the FBI agents are behind them, and Homer almost gets to her, but Abe is stuck in between a couple of rocks, and Abe is like, no, go get her or you'll never see her again. And then but young Homer chooses Abe instead of going to get his mom, so he comes back because he didn't want to leave Abe, because Abe never left him, so Homer wasn't going to leave him behind.
Yeah, nice little touching moment.
Yeah, and then Mona gets to the highway and hops in a van, like hitchhikes in a van and takes off and gets away. So Homer didn't find his mom. And then we go back to, we've been cutting back to modern day of Homer relaying all this to the therapist in his phone. And he comes to realize that everything I wanted from my mom, I get in Marge and my family. Mm-hmm. So Homer gets closure. We get a joke of of him being like, okay, so I'm good now, and now I can delete the app. And then the therapist on the other side of the phone getting chewed out and fired. Be like, what did I tell you about giving them closure? Now he's off the hook, Yeah. And then Homer has this memory of when Bart was born, Mona coming in disguise to visit, baby Bart and Homer, and telling him, I'm always going to be with you, and then leaves. And then everyone goes out to the Gilded Truffle for a nice Mother's Day brunch, and that's the end of the episode. That's
a fine little episode.
I didn't like this episode at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't dislike it.
I was like, the only place we had for jokes was the therapy thing, and we didn't cut back to it often enough. Also, fucking Homer has run into Mona half a dozen times after this. He makes it seem like, oh, she got away and I never saw her again, except for that one time she came and visited when Bart was a newborn. And it's like, yeah, and then 6 other times in the past 25 seasons. You've run into her, granted, it's been a while since we've done a Mona one, but it hasn't been that long, I guess.
Yeah. Also, that Grandpa is a World War II vet again.
Yeah,
has a son who has little kids in 2022.
Yeah.
So he had Homer when he was 78 years old.
There are some fixed points in time.
Yeah.
Burns was in World War I and II, and Abe was in World War II.
World War II. And have we seen him in Vietnam yet? I don't think we have.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
It'd be weird because Skinner is a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
It'd be weird. Those two don't seem close to the same age, so it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, but we also haven't brought up that Skinner's a Vietnam vet in how fucking long.
That's true. Yeah, good point.
I wonder if that's still canon or not.
Yeah. God, it's been a minute. You're right.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot out of that one. It is very sweet. I'll give you that. It's a pretty sweet episode, but it's not
sweetie pie.
It's not a funny episode, and I don't think the story's that good.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe just that it's kind of awe. Maybe I needed an awe episode.
Maybe you needed an awe.
It's mid at best, as the kids say. So
you know what? It would jump a whole fucking letter grade for me just for having the goddamn Space Coyote in there.
yeah.
Space Coyote's like season 8. That's from forever ago.
Yep. Oh my God, yeah.
Space Coyote, the first time we see him is in standard definition. In the old animation 100%, style.
Yeah.
Space Coyote would make a good tattoo. That's a good look.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The gears, they be turning.
Yeah.
Let's see how the last of the bunch fares, episode 9 or 10, depending on your grading.
Or whatever. There's no rules anymore.
Yeah, nothing matters. A maid Maggie. A maid Maggie. The fam, sans Maggie, goes to the Angelica Button theme park. Am I getting that right?
Yep.
It's Harry Potter, is what it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is the Harry Potter. We haven't fucking brought up Angelica Button in a long time.
Yeah. They're running around. They just make the same gags about amusement parks being money traps. And Homer gets put into some type of, what do they call it? The Harry Potter, if you're a Hufflepuff or whatever.
Houses, I think.
Yeah. And of course, Lisa's having fun with it. And some people start being mean to it's like, oh, they're your enemy. They're part of this family or this house. And Homer's like, oh, do you guys work here? Like, yes, we do. It's like, well, that means you can't punch me back. So it immediately goes right to violence. But there is seasonal employees, so they could kick the shit out of Homer.
Homer just fucking slugs the one dude.
Which, yeah, that was one of the few good laughs early on. Meanwhile, Grandpa is in charge of Maggie, having a good, because I think Marge is kind of worried. She calls and checks. Oh, everything's fine. Don't worry. Have fun. But they eventually come home and they find Grandpa's there, but Maggie's not. Grandpa's like, what do you mean? I just let out the cat and changed Maggie. He's holding Santa's little helper, or Snowball 2 wearing a diaper.
Yep.
Yeah. Everyone, it's pandemonium, but that's when the doorbell rings and it's Ned holding Maggie, who he found outside, wearing the cat collar. Nice touch.
Fucking Ned is such an angel, man.
My God, yeah. What a neighbor to have. While discussing Maggie, Marge, it comes up that Maggie isn't baptized, which, of course, Ned shook real hard about.
Ned not okay with that.
Yeah. It's kind of far-fetched for as much as they go to church that Maggie wouldn't be baptized yet, but
and they, especially because they don't have a good reason. It's just like, oh, we haven't gotten around to it yet. Like, come the fuck on. Like, even if you take that Maggie is 6 or 8 or 10 months old, like, she can't be more than a year old, can she?
No, I'd say 10 months, 8 months.
You're telling me that Marge, who we've seen insist they have to go to church every Sunday, didn't get that kid baptized? Come on.
It's a little sus.
Come on, Samsons.
But Marge is shook by this. In the classic, we've seen this before, where Marge just lying up in bed worrying about something, and she decides right then and there, we're going to get her baptized. Patty and or Selma can be the godmother, but she tasks Homer with finding the godfather. And what does he do right away? He goes to Moe's, checks out the usual suspects. They're all duds. Fucking Moe is going to kind of plead his case. Doesn't even listen to him. No,
he barely opens his mouth. What about? No, you're out.
Yeah.
Also, just the fact that he would go to Moe's and that the barflies are his first choice?
What do you expect to find?
Oh my God. Speaking of the barflies, I hate to go back to a previous episode, but I apparently didn't write the gag down. But I got a very good laugh in that episode where Smithers is dating that designer fella. When they're at the party in the Simpsons backyard, where he does his catty thing of putting down Hibbert's wife and Patty and Selma, just giving them zingers. When fucking Lenny, this is what made me think of it, because the barflies, when Lenny walks up to him and goes, what about me? What do you think of my top? And Michael looks past him, looks at Carl and goes, he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, nice touch.
Holy shit, that was funny.
Yeah, nice
Ooh.
touch. Yeah,
that was a very good joke, Simpsons. Good fucking work.
I forgot about that one too. You're right, that was good.
That seems like a nice guy. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Oh, that was
track
worth going
there.
back. That was worth revisiting. Yeah.
I just, as soon as we saw the barflies, I was like, fuck that top joke.
So now Homer, with Maggie in tow, is walking the streets of Springfield trying to think of potential godfathers. While all this is happening, they're loading a giant grand fucking piano onto like the 70th story of a building, and it's going to fall. And Homer's oblivious to it, but Fat Tony's walking out of mass. He sees it and pushes them out of the way right at that time, which, saved their lives. So, and then Fat Tony and Homer get talking a little bit, and once he finds out that they're looking for godparents, he quickly talks Homer to letting him be the godfather, which he goes home and tells Marge. And shockingly, Marge is not a fan of a fucking mafia don that they don't know that isn't Protestant.
He really browbeats poor Homer into letting him be the godfather.
Yeah, he's good at that. You can tell he's good at being a bully.
Also, like, wouldn't have thought of like, oh, of course Tony's super religious. Of fucking course he is. Also, if you wanted proof earlier that the Prestige television two-parter is not canon, Tony and all of these mobsters die in that diner scene.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
not to go back an episode, but something I found interesting is canon. We saw it in the last episode. Santa's little helper's mom makes an appearance.
Oh, yes, you're correct. Yep. I forgot about that episode until she showed up.
Yeah.
That episode, not all that long ago, I don't think.
No, within the last 2 seasons.
Couple of
definitely.
seasons, yeah.
Yeah. So Marge, very skeptical about this idea, but kind of gets won over a little bit when he shows up unannounced. He's like, I saw Maggie's baby seat wasn't worth a shit, so here's a fancy baby seat. And Marge, you need to drive a safer car, so I fucking leased a new Lexus. Like, Jesus Christ. So, okay, I will take that. I get to finally drive a good car for once, but Marge is still not comfortable with this, as she should not be, but
decides to play along.
After the baptism, which Fat Tony kind of commandeers, he's the MC of that baptism, and end up going. They go to Luigi's, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, the idea of a baptism MC is very funny.
Yeah. Yo, what's up?
Hey, make some noise.
Let's see some hands in the air for this baptism.
Let's see some hands in the air.
I can't hear you. First Lutheran.
Air horn.
Yeah. Goodbye Horses playing as it's happening.
Oh, I'd listen to that.
Yeah. So he's chosen where they're going to eat. They're going to eat at Luigi's. We get a very good scene of Luigi terrified of Fat Tony, as he probably often is. And it's a good combo. It's the Simpsons all dressed up for church with Patty and Selma and Fat Tony.
Yeah.
That's a combo you're not going to see
all
too
in
often.
a pew. Yep.
Yeah.
Tony
Eventually
going to the Protestant service, apparently.
Yeah. That's how much he wants to be a godparent.
Doesn't he pick him up and abduct them because they weren't going to church that day? So he fucking pulls up in a van and takes them?
No, that comes up later.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Because at this point, Homer's still all about this because they're getting cool shit.
Yeah.
Eventually, Fat Tony talks his way into fucking babysitting, but he can't babysit. He got too much important shit to do. So now the goons are watching Maggie at the park, where they rough up the unibrow baby because he bullies Maggie, and now all the other kids kind of like kowtow to Maggie. They know the power that she has.
And she's into it.
Yep. She's leaning in. She's about this, like giving the point you look in the eyes, the hand gesture.
Yeah.
And like, as you were saying, Homer was all about this until they show up at the goddamn house and force them all to go to church. And not only that, they force Homer to stay awake, which that's too much. He can't handle that. The Fat Tony lets Bart know, you better be turning those hymnal pages. Like,
ridiculous.
Yeah. That's something I got as a kid. If I wasn't turning the hymnal pages, I'd hear about it.
Really?
Yeah. Can't just go through the motions. God damn it. Look at that book, even though it probably could barely read. It's like 6 years old.
And sure as fuck can't read music.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do with this, Dad?
Yeah. Just didn't want us like half-assing through church.
Everybody singing? Your dad singing in church?
I bet at a decibel so low that only some dogs can hear it, but by God, he's up there mouthing the words.
Just mumble singing?
Yeah. So now Homer doesn't like this arrangement at all because heaven forbid because he's like, but I'm hungover. But they're like, hey, you're going to church. Because I think, yeah, Fat Tony is a religious man. So they've been talking about wanting to break this. Well, Marge has the whole time, but now Homer's kind of on board, but he's also very afraid of Fat Tony. But Marge, we got to tell him that he can no longer be the godfather. And Homer does go talk to him, but he convinces, hey, Maggie's changed me. I'm going to go on the straight and narrow. What kind of store is he going to open? Maternity wear.
Yeah, maternity and like baby clothes and diaper bags and shit like that. Called Bambino Depot.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And it's all because of Maggie. Maggie has changed Fat Tony for the better. Marge is undeterred and vows to end the relationship with Fat Tony while they're at an Itchy and Scratchy on Ice event that Fat Tony bought tickets for. And not only did he buy tickets for, he bought the rest of them. So they had it alone because now they're like, oh shit, there's no witnesses. We need witnesses. I want to make sure we end this when there's plenty of other people around. But so they still try, but Fat Tony refuses, saying he took a vow from God. That's what a baptism is. It's a vow to God that you're going to take care of this kid. And while all this is going on, because there's been whispers that this baby's making Fat Tony soft amongst the goons.
The goons aren't into it.
Yeah. And that one of the goons pulls a gun dressed up in the Itchy and Scratchy show.
Not just any goon. Johnny Tightlips.
Oh, Johnny Tightlips, you're right.
Johnny Tightlips is the turncoat here.
Yeah, who saw that coming? A man that would never say anything to the authorities. But what I didn't see coming, the other goons stop him. They're still loyal. Yeah. Like I can, and he's like flummoxed. Like, what do you mean? We talked about this. We're gonna. It's like, what? I'd never go and turn on Fat Tony. He's my cousin. And the other guy's like, wait, he's my cousin. It's like, he's somebody's cousin.
He's somebody's cousin. We can't whack Fat Tony.
So the other two goons kind of incapacitate Johnny Tightlips, and Fat Tony, not thrilled about this turn in events, goes up and is about to pistol whip the guy when he sees how sad it's making Maggie. Maggie's very scared by all this. So he realizes he's not cut out to be a godfather and says he's going to step away, and Marge begrudgingly gives the keys to the Lexus back to Fat Tony. And then that she doesn't want to let go of them, and Fat Tony's like, in order for me to take the car back, you have to let go of the keys. As if Marge was unaware.
Right.
Yeah. And they're about to... Yeah.
And she finally is like, just let me open the doors one more time. We see earlier that it has like DeLorean gull doors for no reason.
Gull wing or whatever they call them. Gull wing doors.
On a goddamn SUV. But she's like, just let me open the doors one more time. She hits the button and then it cuts outside the doors, fling open and fucking annihilate Hans Moleman.
Yeah, poor Hans Moleman. Such a good, He's just trying to do his thing.
Just a quick, 1 second joke.
Yeah. So they're about to go their separate ways, but Homer, shithead that he is, lazy as he is, he's like, hey, for old time's sake, you want to change your diaper because she's shit herself. And Fat Tony lovingly changes Maggie's diaper one more time.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And I really got a kick out of Fat Tony's genuine affection for Maggie.
Yeah. There's a lot of adorable fucking Tony and Maggie shots. In
when he's buying her clothes, some the ridiculous clothes she's wearing.
Yeah. And just the little, the little scenes we see of Maggie, even when Tony's not around, when she's back at the Simpson house, she has a fucking cheetah print onesie and makeup on.
Yeah. This is the most we've delved into the Fat Tony's world in a while.
A long time. Been a long time. Don't forget, this is Fat Tony 2. This is Fit Tony.
Yeah, let's
not forget.
Tony.
Yep.
Ah, that's a good point. Holy shit.
Let's not forget that original Fat Tony is long dead.
Never forget. R.I.P. Fat Tony 1.
Yep.
Like, Fat Tony 2 has definitely been around far longer than Fat Tony 1 at this point.
100%. By a lot, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a fun one. Or at least, it was fine.
I put this one ahead of the Mona one prior
Me too.
to it.
Yep, me too.
Get some good, the Fat Tony gags, you won't double over laughing, but they're always fun.
Yeah, and he's just fun being on screen,
Yeah.
Anytime Fat Tony's around, I'm like, all right, this is good. This is fine. I got no problem with this.
This just shows how much a mediocre episode can be spruced up by featuring a unique side character.
Yeah, totally. Yep. It doesn't always have to be a guest.
Yeah, give us more of this kind of stuff, please.
And that's it. We did it. A good batch. Even with that Mona one that I actively didn't like, good batch.
Yeah, fine. No, more than fine. What am I saying?
I was about to say, come the fuck on.
It started hot. Very hot. But it never bottomed out.
No. Yeah, that fucking two-parter is very good. I loved the fucking Smithers episode.
Yep, the Smithers one is also very good.
Yeah, the Mona one was easily the low point for me, and this Fat Tony one, totally fine.
Yeah. If they could always be that good, we'd be fucking living the dream.
Yep.
No shitty celebrities in any of them. Boy, if there's a common denominator there.
The big high-minded concept episode was good. That doesn't always happen.
Yeah, that's a rarity.
Like
that rap one was okay, but nothing of this caliber.
Remember the fucking... I'm more talking in concept, like the fucking Homeland episode,
Yep, not ideal.
No, sir.
And there's been other ones that have been like of that ilk that weren't as bad as the Homeland, but they were just instantly forgettable.
Yeah.
I can't think of any right now because they're instantly forgettable. Yeah. We've ran into these before.
Yeah, I genuinely really like that Fargo episode, or whatever you want to call it. That Prestige two-parter is extremely good. You want to do this again next week? You want to keep on trucking? Or you want to just quit?
I guess we should.
You want to quit now?
You know what? Should we leave them wanting more? Isn't that what they say? If we sign off now,
144 episodes in, that'd be a ballsy move to just be like,
hell of a way. No announcement.
Guys, see ya.
Yep. Like how John Stockton retired. Just a quick thing after you lost your final game of the season. Yep, I'm probably done. Have a good one. Like, what?
Excuse me?
That's it? It's a hard YouTube find, but you can find it. It's just the type of, so what do you think about next season? It was a tough wait for this season to end, but you got some good young guys. Like, yeah, got some good young guys. I probably am not going to be here next year. And then you can tell he's kind of getting choked up. So he just, I'm going to hit the road, guys, and just takes off. Like,
Jesus.
That's a pretty dope way for John Stockton to retire, though. Pretty on brand. That guy was never trying to stick out at all.
No, John Stockton wanted to blend into the wallpaper.
There's great stories about the 92 U.S. Dream Team, how their hotel was in a zombie apocalypse of people rushing the walls just to see Michael Jordan. Those guys had to go through so many hoops to escape the hotel because it was so under siege. Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and Charles Barkley were the biggest people on planet Earth at that point.
Yeah.
John Stockton, his wife and kids would walk in and out with no problem at all. That's so great. John Stockton didn't even have to put sunglasses on. Him and his wife could go look around Spain at the time of their life.
He could walk out of that hotel wearing his uniform and they'd be like, that guy's a big fan.
Yeah, he's pretty fit. I wonder if he ever plays basketball.
Nah, he doesn't look like a basketball player, which he doesn't.
Nope. The funny thing is, though, I bet if you stood up next to him, he ain't short. He's 6 foot tall, probably, but just because he plays in the NBA where everyone's a glandular 1 in a million freak,
John Stockton.
Good for him. Kind of in the news, I think has some hot takes on like COVID and stuff.
Oh no! Wait, which way? Which the bad hot is John Stockton?
I shouldn't
the bad
say
hot?
any of this without knowing. I'm not going to besmirch the good name, but do some research if you're a John Stockton fan. Look into what he's up to.
Are you saying do your own research? Is this where you fall on things? You were saying do your own research?
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of class on something I do not know. I just know I've heard other sports like talk people like make fun of him about it. And I was like, oh, poor John Stockton.
Oh no.
What'd you do, John? What'd you do?
We
He's
book
like
it.
shooting up pure horse piss because he thinks that's the key to health.
Oh, ew.
It's good enough for perfume. It's good enough for my boys.
Boy, way to bookend the episode with basketball talk. John Stockton and Sean Kemp.
90s basketball stars, John Stockton and Sean Kemp.
Yep, in the news. We'll do this again next week. Watch the next 5 episodes on Disney.
That's a good way to word it. Yeah.
On Disney Plus, it's episodes 10 through 14. And in real life on Wikipedia, it's episodes 11 to 15. However you want. Start with the longest marge, watch that one, and then 4 more. That's how you should do it.
Go from there.
Yeah.
Don't let this stress you out.
Goddamn numbers all dicked up. This is just like the fucking Michael Jackson season where that one is missing, so our numbers are all wonky.
If you have been watching along with us, let us know. Reach out to us on social media because I'd love to know how many brave, intrepid souls out there are playing the home game.
I bet it's a pretty short list, brother. We've been at this a lot. Asking your listeners to watch 5 episodes of The Simpsons every week for fucking your
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years? Jesus Christ, it's been almost 3 years.
That's a lot to ask.
I know there's some. I know for a fact there's a couple.
No shit.
Yeah. So yeah, watch the next 5. I'm going to get back to what I've been up to this week, which is eating fucking Girl Scout cookies, Nathan.
Ooh, that season.
It's towards the tail end of the season. Like, I've had it happen a few times where I missed the season altogether because I don't have a friend with a Girl Scout daughter or anything. Like, I have no connection to the Girl Scouts in my day-to-day life. But a friend of mine gave me the heads up of like, hey, I got a Girl Scout hookup if you want. I'm like, what? Oh, cookies. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll buy cookies.
I saw one camped out at a Target here in the cities. That's a bold. That's how you that's how you goose the numbers. You just hang out in the entryway of a department store.
Yeah, I think out here you sometimes see them outside of a grocery store, like outside of a Hornbacher's on the weekend. If they had half a brain, they'd go park outside of the fucking edibles shop.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, they sure would.
People going in, buying their fucking weed tinctures and then grab some Thin Mints on the way out.
Oh, that's a day.
Yeah, it is.
Girl Scouts get to sell the best cookies known to man.
Yep.
Boy Scouts get to sell trails and popcorn. Big sacks of unpopped popcorn kernels.
Unpopped popcorn? That's their big fundraiser?
At least it was 20. They can't anymore, but I bet they're selling microwavable popcorn now.
Jesus.
How can they compete? How are they expected? I used to be like apologetic when I was attempting to sell that shit as a little kid. Like the 1 or 2 years I was in Boy Scouts. Like,
I'm sorry, but do you want popcorn?
There's like $1 bag if you just buy $1. Do you have $1?
I'll just give you $1 to go away, kid.
We had so much unpopped popcorn.
Hey, sir, do you want to buy some popcorn? Oh yeah, I'm hungry. I'll take some. Well, no, it's unpopped.
You have a popper at home? You can just use a frying pan and butter. Jesus, this is depressing.
Oh, man. Yeah, it is. I didn't know the Boy Scouts were so sad.
Trails and popcorn. I bet they still do. They were real attached at the hip with the Trails End people.
Unfucking believable. That's even a sad name, Trails End.
That's when you start eating people. This doesn't take us through the Sierra Nevadas. It just ends.
I have, like, not to, boy, what a fucking, this is how my life is going lately, that I consider this commendable. This is worth patting myself on the back for. I have limited myself to no more than a sleeve a day. Like, that's,
good for you.
That's 5 cookies. You shouldn't be eating more than 2, but you definitely shouldn't be eating more than 5 in a 24-hour period. So
can't be shooting sleeves. You got to be eating individual cookies.
No,
you're shooting sleeves at a pop. That's when you're really getting it. It's a dark waters.
I have shot a sleeve a day for 3 days straight. That means a box lasted 3 days.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are times a box lasts a XFL game. Like, you can have that knocked out in 2.5 hours.
Oh, if I had my druthers and hadn't had this come to Jesus meeting with myself a few days ago, I would be... I'd just be fucking be up to my dick in empty Samoa's boxes.
Just covered in do-si-do boxes.
Which ones are the do-si-dos? I don't know those.
I don't know. I think a lot of them had their names changed. Like, Samoas ain't Samoas anymore.
They are back to being Samoas again. Yes.
Are they really?
They were Caramel Delights for a brief window in time, but they're back to being Samoas. I bought Samoas and Tagalongs, which are the peanut butter ones.
God, the coconut ones are good too. Pretty much the peanut butter tagalongs are great.
Yeah. They also sell
coconut ones.
They sell like because I went to the website, like, oh, what do I want here?
Research.
What's new in Girl Scout cookie news? Which there is. It's a raspberry one covered in chocolate. I'm not interested in that because I don't really care for raspberries.
Yeah.
But there's the lemon ones. They have like
that one's good.
They have a peanut butter one that's almost like a Nutter Butter, almost like a peanut butter cookie with some manner of peanut butter cream in there.
I did not know that.
But I'm here for Samoas and Tagalongs. That's my huge.
Why divulge from a winning formula or diverge from a winning formula?
The reason to divulge from that winning formula is that it's slowly going to kill me. I need to eat a goddamn vegetable.
You take a shit that isn't black.
And a screaming emergency. Like, that would be good too.
Yeah. Doesn't need to sound like a fucking tire blowing out on a semi on the freeway. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Boom.
As you realize the toilet paper's still sitting in the living room from the last touch up you had to do. Had to make an impromptu man pawn and shove it up in there.
Yeah. What did Dusty Rhodes call it? A muffler? You got your muffler in, baby?
Falls out when you're at the trampoline park.
The cruel irony, the time I need it the most is also the time when it's the easiest to lose.
I want to bounce with security.
Cruel fates. The cruel butthole fates.
It hitting the wall and just sticking like it's Velcro.
Oh, no.
It's not even sliding down.
Need to get the man with the slop bottom out of here.
Yeah. Well, I hope you can have a whole week without any bathroom mishaps.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
For the both of us.
You've always wanted the best for me. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, everyone, watch the next 5 episodes, whatever that number may be. And enjoy yourselves and stay safe out there.
Bye, everybody.